I don't know what it is.
Francis knows a lot about you guys, and you know a lot about Francis. You're all casting the same. Right.
Okay, guys, that's it. Right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No,
Disgraceful. We're going to put you, if it's okay, with Carl.
I thought we were a team. The Rock and Crick. So now, you know, I'm stuck with Wilson and Hardy. Good fucking luck. No, but Carl will be
I've got an idea. That's what we don't have. I remember doing this shit 25 years ago in your life. 50 years ago. Well, I thought I just told the guys, I said, seeing you guys do this is kind of like
Do you want us just along the car? Just literally along the car?
Yeah, just these shots.
I've seen you last night.
Bunch up a bit though.
Somebody keep calling you.
Bit closer.
Well, that's a bit too wide. I think some of you guys should get in front of the island, you know? Yeah, get too wide. I don't know where it is. Too wide. You guys come here. There's some in the car. I don't know where the hell are.
Get some actually standing in the car would be better. Let's see some of that.
That's fine.
Right.
It's a football team now, isn't it?
Everyone forward this way. This way, please. One down the front, guys. Everyone this way, please. Guys, everyone this way.
Looking out.
One down to the guys in front, please. Everyone this way, this way.
Is there something up to these? Yeah.
To your right, please. Down here, guys. Down here.
All right, Rich. To the left.
This way, down here. James, just looking this way.
Which way now?
This way, please.
We need to do it right here. How many times? Okay, right. Exactly where you are. Wriggle round. Okay, you got 1 minute for this, guys.
I'm working on that.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Frank.
We'll get some decent amount of tickets.
Right.
Okay, you stay. I don't go out, so I can't look after the driving.
No one's going to get
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's have a look over here. Win armour from the window.
Yeah.
As we do.
Crazy.
Brian, could you go left? Then we'll do a straight. Can't make me sliding off.
I wouldn't worry about that.
That's trouble.
Brian, just over here.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, guys, just wait.
You better do that.
Yeah,
And then we'll get the car.
We're with you, man.
Francis, Brian. Here we go.
Trust you to be different, Joe.
Thank you.
Brian.
Here we go again.
Everyone this way, please. This way, please. Everyone's fine. Hands up, hands up.
Up here. Let's clear it all out from here now. Can we clear the back of the car?
son of a bitch.
Clear the back of the car. Right, this group.
John, here we go.
Before he falls. You've been on that coffee again, have you, John?
Got it, thank you.
Where do you want to go? Just up here, please.
No, wait, do what you want. Do what you want.
Brian, look right. No, you go back and I'll move back and give you some room.
Yeah, please.
Just have one straight.
Brian, straight.
Stand around for me, please.
Fire away, fire away. Brian, this way, this way.
Brian,
And fire away, fire away. Brian, and this way, please, Brian. Right in front of you.
Brian, mind it.
Brian, can just this way, please.
Oh, okay, that's it, that's finished.
Thank you. All right, you're welcome. Well, off the stage now, lads. Thank you. Off the stage.
Okay, that's enough.
Okay, thank you. Cheers. Thanks a lot.
That'll move dial for some pages.
Five guys, straight back. Oh, Brian, you know where he was. You move along. Brian. Hang on. Are you getting everybody in here? I feel like I'm in the way here. Yeah, that's it. My legs, is that better? You got it. Brian, hey, who are you guys going to step back? You're going to look to the right side.
Nobody cares. Everybody's going to see this every year old. Yeah, I think that's much better because then we can see all of you. Anybody have a telephone booth?
We have everyone this way. Everyone down here?
Yeah, as soon as we
This way, guys. This side, please, not this way, please. And just down here.
Guys, straight ahead. Just looking down here. Guys, straight ahead. Discipline, of course.
Guys, all this way. All straight forward. That's okay.
Everybody this way. And this way, again, please, guys.
Guys, this way.
And this way, please.
Guys, look this way, please.
Last shots, lads. Last shots.
One forward, please. One forward.
Clear the stage.
Guys, straight ahead now, and you can shoot from the pit. Okay?
Thank you, guys.
Hang on, don't finish yet, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, just that's it.
But I mean, we're looking here, I guess, at two music legends together. What's it like on stage performing as two great bands together?
I don't know yet. We haven't done it. I mean, I've only seen them on stage, and they went to our rehearsal, I guess, and thought we were okay. But when they heard us, the real thing, they're like, hey, no, you know, so we don't want to give it all away at rehearsal, right? So you kind of tentative, but I guess it's going to be great. I mean, if we do a stadium tour together, which is, I think, in the works, then that would probably be the icing on the cake, you know, and we'll find out, you know, and see what happens. Have a battle of the bands, you know. We'll do our version, they'll do their version. I don't know.
Did you ever, in the late sort of 60s, 70s, were you ever fans of Status Quo?
You know, we've been aware of them, but honestly, in the States, we haven't heard a lot about them. But I think it's about time. I think they'll have some success there. And but when you come here, of course, I mean, you're aware of them, and in Germany, my gosh, they're like, you know, legendary.
What are you guys doing
We're
now?
going, we have to go on after these guys.
What are you chaps doing now? Because you've had a pretty good run in the business. haven't you?
Wow, I know. It's like every time I think it's about time to wrap it up, something else comes up. Now the country legends, these, you know, in our country, I mean, country music legends coming to us, record our songs, and asking us to do the backgrounds and kind of be observers of our own catalog, so to speak. So that's interesting. And so we're reliving that part of our career. And then there's a new album with Don Was, who is this producer of the year. in America is going, well, I have to do the Beach Boys. I have to do one more thing before I retire, kind of thing. You know, I'm going, well, okay, we can squeeze you in. You know.
When you look back, have you enjoyed the success that you've had?
Yes and no. It's actually, I'm looking forward to the next period of time. The 30 years before, 33, whatever it's been, went by kind of quickly, and you don't always appreciate it as a young person. Sometimes you take it for granted, you know, and you're like, gosh, those are really incredible things we did and great times we had. But no, they're great things. What you do miss, what you kind of regret, is the time you didn't spend on other things. It's great to have a career, but then you miss your children growing up sometimes, and that kind of thing. You know? Well, now I have a second generation of children, and I have more time with them than I did before, so that's nice. So it is kind of all working out.
Excellent, that's terrific.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was great.
Great.
Lovely. Hope
So-
it goes well tonight. You okay?
Aren't you in it?
No, it's just you.
You look much better than I do. Okay, let's go.
So this is an incredible pairing, Status Quo and the Beach Boys. How did it all come about?
We're friends. We worked together in Berlin, had 200,000 or 300,000 people at a dismantling of the wall, departure of the troops. I realized that for 2 hours it was Quo songs everybody sang, for 2 hours it was Beach Boys, and we talked about getting together, and they kind of thought with our vocals and, quote, their power, we should record, so we wound up doing fun, including Brian Wilson, I might add.
So how did you actually put the record together? Because you didn't get together for it, did you?
I waited at my mailbox. They just sent it to us, and then after a show in Chicago in the middle of the night, we put the vocals on and sent it back to them. Remember, this isn't our album. This is Status Quo's 30th anniversary. This is their moment. This is not our moment. This is their moment.
How do you look back on Status Quo? What did you think of them in the sort of late 60s, 70s?
They're kind of like us. Maybe you have your problems and all that stuff that goes on normally, but they always had a smile in their music. It was always, they weren't, complaining about the planet. They were trying to contribute some, smiles.
And how did you choose to do Fun? Why that one?
They tried Do It Again, which was big a million years ago also, but the track and the feel for Fun worked better for them. It's their choice.
And how does it feel to be back on stage in Britain?
To be what?
Back on stage in Britain.
Well, this is my favorite place to play. It really is. We have great memories of it, and of course, one of my 4 sons is doing his A-levels here at the Oratory out by Woodcote and Henley. So it's not bad to come over and see him.
You talk about sort of Quo's, amazing 30 years, and it's their celebration, but you guys have had a pretty good career too, haven't you? How do you look back on your career?
Well, as long as you think you're going to make new music and you wrap the old around it and respect what you did, but always try and add on to that, then you can move forward. So I'm always happy to be doing this career.
And how do you think the fans will take to the sort of version of Fun with Quo as well?
God only knows.
They're a different set of fans.
I don't know. I think it's but that's all right. It's how it sounds and what the message is, and it's kind of cool. I like this message. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's terrific. Thank you. So just a quick 2 shots.
Okay, just you talking, Helen?
Okay, just me talking to you now, just for a second, if I may. So how do you think the fans will receive it? What do you think they'll think to it?
Wish you hadn't asked me that. I don't know. I hope they like it. I mean, we always do. We always think about them and hope they will like things, and that's why I think it's dangerous sometimes if you focus too much on your hardcore fan club. Sorry about this, because if I see one face go, and I start thinking, what's wrong, and it's very different. One person. We always said that in an audience in a show. I shouldn't tell you this, but you could be 10,000 people there. There's one person at the front's like that. That's the person you see. You don't see the other 10,000 going nuts. You see this one person. And when we had in the army out there, the guy, someone used to follow us around, and he still does, but he used to stand in the crowd as soon as that came up and go, just like that. And you always see them, so it'll be hard, but we'll see. If they like it, they like it.
And how did you look back?
Just take one step back, just a bit closer. I think you slid down here, I haven't.
In the late 70s, late 60s, early 70s, what did you make of the Beach Boys? Were you ever sort of fans of the Beach Boys type of music?
I wasn't a mad fan of theirs because I think when I was younger they were a bit, clean cut and all that. And when you're a teenager, you're not going to have. Now that I'm older, you understand. But I remember when I heard I Get Around, we were in a geography class at school. I don't know how I heard it in a geography class, but I did. And everybody was talking about this new band, the Beach Boys. And I always thought it was a very brave line in the song to say that the bad guys leave us alone now. I thought if you'd said that in England, they'd come after you and just go for it. But I was particularly keen on the song Disney Girls, which I found that Bruce wrote. I hate him for it. They're just some of the best sounding voices in the world, that's what I was taught. Californians, Americans are great singers, particularly this one.
Now you're celebrating 30 years in the business.
Yes.
You're going to keep going?
I can't see any reason to stop. And I've got 7 children and another one on the way, and I need the money. I have to keep going. No, when we split up in 1984, I thought I didn't want to do it anymore, and I really wanted to feel what it would be like not to have the commitment to be. Because ever since I can remember, you wake up in the morning and I'm one of them, and I'm him in status quo. And I thought I would really enjoy not having that commitment. And then after a few months, I had to admit to myself that I like the adulation or whatever it is, or whether even if it's only status quo, I like being in there. I like walking on stage with people going, yeah. Whereas I know what it's like. When I was younger, I had jobs, and you walk in the morning, you get, and that's good morning usually. It's the best you get. But when we walk out tonight, it's like, yeah. And so I suppose it's like football teams. You can play a bad show and they still come back because they love it, which is an honour.
Terrific, brilliant, thank you. I'll just do one quick 2-shot there.
These are very odd notes, watch. Embarrassing, isn't it? Yeah, but it's not. This is not a real show, so I don't see it as a real gig. So I find it very difficult. I don't know how the live thing's going to go because it's, like I said, it's not real. It's kind of set up, if you like. There's a fan club do, and they'll be here most of the evening. They'll be watching us. So it'd be very difficult to come out and do a live show and go in anger, as it was.
We're okay. Okay, this is quite an unusual musical pairing, isn't it? Beach Boys and Status Quo. How did it come about?
We were all booked to do a show in Berlin to celebrate the Allied troops leaving Berlin, and it was us, the Beach Boys, and Charles Aznavour. And poor Charles was really extremely nervous, but once he got on, he was fine. But there were about 350,000 people watched that. He's going to go for that.
Sorry, can I start you again on that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how did it come about?
We were all booked together to do a show in Berlin to celebrate the Allied troops leaving Berlin. And us and the Beach Boys, we were there all day, and we noticed that the Beach Boys thought it was odd that all these Germans were singing these English lyrics, the Status Quo's lyrics, and then when they went on, obviously they were all singing Beach Boys too. And both bands have that, rather than tell people, your life's a pain, you can't get work, the world's in a mess, the environment's up the creek, we'd rather entertain them for 2 hours, and that's their approach is very much the same. And Bruce Johnson, who is probably the world's most enthusiastic man, particularly in terms of rock and roll, he kept talking about doing stuff, and we spent an evening in a hotel. Together, and he kept calling and saying, "Are we going to do this?" And we started the album and tried a few Beach Boys tracks. This one kind of slotted into place once we got the intro together, and then we suggested we send that you make up a slave tape, and we sent it to them. And they did some of it in Chicago, some in Los Angeles, and some in Cleveland, I believe. And as soon as we heard their voices, we thought, yes, it just sounds good,
Well, how did it all come about?
How did it all come about? Well, we answered an advert in a musical trade, wanted background singers. And so, that's how it all came
Well, we're
about.
not quite sure, you see, whether they're our backing vocalists or whether we're their backing group.
Well,
it's about 50-50, really.
It really is. It's sort of like community property in the United States. But anyway, we actually met.
He's a nut.
Well, we were in the same billing. Status quo. We say status, they say status. But mosh days. Anyway, we were both on, we were both on the bill in Germany to celebrate the leaving of the occupation forces. Status Quo from England, Beach Boys from USA, and after the show, we got lubricated and decided we should do something together.
But you're very different musically, aren't you? Different set of fans.
Well, funnily enough, we're not that different, we found. When we listen to a lot of their stuff, it really rocks on a lot of it, and a lot of it is shuffles, right? And we kicked a few of the songs about, and and we ended up doing the fun, and sent it to them. And when we got the tapes back with their voices on it, I mean, Francis and I just freaked out because their vocal sound goes so well with our backtrack, and it just worked out fabulously. So,
And also,
a surprise in many ways. But
also, I think their group and ours has a basic philosophy in the music which is positive, and it's not like really angst-ridden, all serious.
We just get out there
stuff.
to give people a good time. They do and we do, and the chemistry between the two bands just seems to work.
When you look back at the late 60s, early 70s, were you guys fans of each other? I mean, do you remember the Beach Boys
I
being
was a
big
huge
influence?
fan of his. Huge fan. I've been a fan of the Beach Boys since I was quite young. It's fascinating to work with
realize
somebody
we
who's
had
been around
fans
old.
this old.
I'm talking. It's fascinating to work with somebody who's been around longer than us. It's a very rare.
We say that about the Four Tops.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then we, or the Mills Brothers. I don't know.
We've worked with the Five Top.
Now, your friends,
We appreciate Status Quo's. I mean, I love their arrangement of fun. It's really dynamic. It's really ballsy, as we say, but it really kicks ass. I think it's fabulous. It's so different. When we first heard the intro, they came up with this intro that startled us in a good way. You did?
Yeah.
It was a good
I was
call.
thinking intro.
It was great. I do too. I came up with round, get around, I get around one time. That worked pretty good.
We were going to do that, but we just couldn't sing it.
Why?
We just couldn't. We're not as good as you vocally.
Oh, get out. You
No,
don't
I'm
have
being
to be.
honest.
You can always ask us to do the backgrounds.
Yeah, well, we'll stick to the backtrack. You stick to the vocals. It's getting good. Yeah.
can we ever see more of this then? More Beach Boys and Quo?
Well, what I'd like to see is if their manager can see a way to part with a couple of bucks to get us some, decent airfares over to Europe. this
Always
summer.
ends up talking about
Well,
money.
I mean, no, I just,
You
just
wanna
a
see
little
where they're
respect,
staying. I mean,
a
you
little
wouldn't
respect.
believe
It's a
it.
symbolic gesture.
Talk about opulence. They're staying
No.
First class airfare.
Well, this is
My
true.
God, it costs us a fortune. It's worth it, though.
Well, absolutely. Every
Lovely
penny.
bunch of chaps.
But if we could just see what was fun. See, we close our show with fun. If we were to work out an encore, if we were to work out an encore, rocking all over the world and fun, and one or two others, it would be an incredible encore set. And the whole is greater than the sum of its part.
I think anything is possible.
Is greater than the sum of its parts. Yeah. You hear that? Tell that to David.
It's kinda heavy
the
sometimes.
manager. Well, the thing,
No, you
meaning, like, history lesson, 1975, United States. The Beach Boys went on tour with Chicago. We did 6 shows in the Chicago Stadium, and the Beach Boys by themselves could have done 1.5, and Chicago could have done 2 together. We did 6 because of the combination. The whole was greater than the sum of its parts. And we did this encore set, which was phenomenal. So it would even be better with Status Quo because it would rock.
So it's becoming quite in vogue and quite trendy for people to get together. There's been a lot of it going on. And I mean, we didn't necessarily plan this from the first time when we did the gig together. We thought, well, yeah, perhaps in the future we'll do something. But nothing was really in concrete, as it were, And this has just sort of fallen into place, and everything they haven't pushed anything, It's just fallen into place, and here we all are. It's just worked fabulously. It's like you don't plan a party, because it never goes quite right. We didn't really plan this. It's just worked.
I'm just happy to be here because I'm a co-author on Fun.
I can't believe it, like they come from the Californian sunshine, right? And they're in the freezing cold in Brixton. They must really want to do this. It's freezing.